Howdy, my name is Ryan Jackson, and I will be presenting along with Sean, Roman, and Rami for the team class participation assignment, part two, the presentation for Architecture 249. And the layout of the presentation is I will be answering question one, Rami will be answering question two, Roman three, and obviously Sean four. So yeah, like I said, my name is Ryan Jackson, and studying the history of architecture contributes to the development of critical thinking, including creative thinking, innovation, inquiry, analysis, evaluation, and synthesis of information that we can apply today in the following specific ways. Um, and studying that architectural history, it encourages us to examine how buildings meet different cultural, social, and environmental needs over time. We typically look at buildings and how they function and their design, including like the materials they used. And the example that I have in the picture is the Pantheon in Rome, the Apollodorus of Damascus. It was built in the time frame of 118 to 125 AD. The architect is unknown, but the patron is Emperor Hadrian. Had construction materials of concrete, granite and marble, travertine, and tufa. Those are the main ones. And then the common dimensions that I was able to find are below, and then the source as well. But the Pantheon in Rome has a huge concrete dome, which is what it's known for, which was an amazing achievement at the time, and it showed how builders at the time used their skills without modern tools. And this made me think really create, creatively about how buildings are designed today, and the innovation that comes with construction and design. And just, I was able to go into a lot of comparative thought about how different and how innovation has played a massive role in architecture, looking back into the 120 AD time for this pantheon, and how these builders used a bunch of different techniques without modernized tools and practices versus now, and how much of a role that innovation has played in um, the process of designing and building a piece of architecture. And so, studying this architectural history helps us develop that critical thinking by looking at innovation and its role that it's played throughout history in architecture.
Okay, my name is Rami Nahhas, and I will be presenting question two, which is how does architectural history contribute to an improved sense of social responsibility, intercultural competence, civic responsibility, engagement in communities? So the study of architectural history contributes to an improved sense of social responsibility, including intercultural competence, knowledge of civic responsibility, and the ability to engage effectively in regional, national, and global communities that we can apply today in the following specific ways. So a powerful example is the Great Mosque of Jenne in Mali, a structure rebuilt in 1907 using traditional adobe techniques and maintained through an annual community-wide event called the Crépissage de la Grande Mosque. During this event, entire neighborhoods come together to reapply layers of mud plaster to preserve the mosque's structure. This collective process is not only about architecture, it demonstrates intercultural competence by encouraging respect for building traditions rooted in local, sustainable methods rather than modern industrial technologies. It also highlights civic responsibility, as maintaining the mosque depends on participation, cooperation, and shared stewardship. Studying this structure encourages students to reflect on community-based problem solving and creative thinking. In a world that often prioritizes individual ownership or elite-driven design, Gen A offers a compelling alternative, inclusive participatory architecture that strengthens regional and global communities through shared tradition. As future designers, thinkers, or civic leaders, we can apply these lessons to projects that empower communities rather than exclude them. So here we have an image of the Great Mosque of Jenne. It was believed to be built in the 13th century by King Khoi Konboro and rebuilt by Ismaili Traore, the chief mason at the time in 1907. And today the local Masons Guild hosts the Crépissage de la Grande Mosque every year. So the construction materials are just purely adobe, which is mud brick. It is located in Jenne, Mali. The dimensions, so the length is 91 feet, The width is 75 feet, and it sits on this platform that you can see to keep it safe from the regional flooding. And so the height from to the top of the central tower, which is the highest point, is about 52 feet, and that platform it sits on is 246 feet by 246 feet, and the image source is there. And yeah, that's it for question 2.
Question 3 asks, in what specific ways does the study of architectural history improve our ability to live and work effectively in a diverse and global society? A great example is the Ise Grand Shrine in Japan. It was originally built in the 4th century BCE, and this sacred Shinto site is ritually rebuilt every 20 years, using traditional materials like Japanese cypress and thatch. The last rebuilding being 2013. This practice is based on the Shinto belief of impermanence and renewal, showing how cultural values can shape architectural traditions. What makes this shrine specifically relevant today is how it challenges the typical Western idea that buildings must be preserved forever. Instead, it offers a different perspective that rebuilding can be part of a structure's identity. By learning about this, we begin to understand that not all culture values architecture the same way. Studying examples like this improves our intercultural competence. It makes us more open-minded and respectful when working with people from other parts of the world. It teaches us that architecture is not just about buildings, it's also about beliefs, rituals, and the way people live. In our professional and personal lives, this awareness helps us work better in diverse teams, adapt more easily in international settings, and creates a more inclusive and meaningful environment. So, when studying architectural history, we also learn how to engage with global communities thoughtfully and respectfully.
My name is Sean Klinger, and today we are going to be studying the history of the architecture that helps us recognize the diverse opinions and practices, including but not limited to economic, political, cultural, gender, and religious opinions, and to consider different points of view in our academic, professional, and personal pursuits outside of this class today. And so we are going to be talking about the Temple of Hatshepsut. And Queen Hatshepsut was a female pharaoh, and this mortuary temple could be seen as a political statement that helped legitimize her rule. In the carvings and statues within the temple, divine conception was depicted, as well as her wearing traditional male pharaoh outfits. The temple was also associated with being divine, and it was about solar worship, as it was oriented to align with the winter solstice sunrise. This reveals the combined astronomy and religious ideals into their architecture. Her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari was also a powerful political and religious statement that helped legitimize her rule as a female pharaoh, and it helped showcase her divine birth and link her to the gods. Through just this piece of architecture, different opinions and practices can be seen within gender norms, political power, culture, and religious beliefs within Egypt.